What up? What up? What up? This is Mike the Philosopher doing it dolo solo. And today's question is a great, insightful, beautiful question. And it comes from a great, insightful, beautiful woman. Okay. And her name is Tichina Arnold. Okay. Now, some of y'all, unless you're under a rock, some of y'all know who this is. You know, this is Pam on Martin. This was the mother on Everybody Hates Chris. She's done a lot of stuff. The resume is long and extensive, and she is a great actress, great singer, great person. All right. Now, she asked an insightful question, and the question is this. It's an honest question. The question is, what can we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? And I have to say that that's a great question. Inquiring minds want to know. Some minds that don't want to know aren't very inquisitive. It just is what it is. I would think that it will be a question that a lot of women would at least scratch their head and think about. It has been met with resistance. It has been met with acceptance. Okay. I'm just going down some of the comments. Some of the comments are nothing. Black men have to stop treating the following things as emasculation: having emotions, asking for help, being LGBT, not being the primary earner in a relationship, liking things that aren't considered manly. It looks like it's from a guy named Darren, I guess. I don't know. Honest question: how do Black women aid in the emasculation in Black men in America? So she's saying that there's another woman who's saying, how do we aid in it? Well, that's for Tichina to answer. However, I have some views on that, and I would say that there are a lot of ways that our women aid in it. If I'm wrong, put it down in the comments that I'm wrong. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a top 6. Why 6? I don't know. It just came out that way. I could go to 10, but I don't know if anybody is ready for a top 10 list. So I did a 6. And these are the 6 things that I think that Black women can do to stop in the aid of emasculating Black men in America. Okay. Number 6. Socially protect your man's name. What I mean by that is just socially protect his name. If you see others who are not so-called welcome to the barbecue, you will protect our name. Don't let them talk greasy about us in the way that you see them talking greasy about us. Be a lot of Black women, and shout out to the Black women. Y'all are doing amazing things out there, and y'all in a lot of boardrooms, right? And y'all in a lot of boardrooms, a lot of coffee places, or this, that, and the third. And we needed to not be comfortable to dump on either the men or the women with anybody else. And oftentimes it can get comfortable for people to dump on black men in black women's company. And we need not that to be so easy to do. You understand? The same way, it's funny because a lot of black women was praising Will Smith for the slap. He should be protecting black women. But the question is black women going to protect black men in certain ways? I mean, it goes both ways. I find it disturbing that a lot of women don't think they have to do nothing. I find that very disturbing, but they want the black men to do their part and go slap people in the name of protecting them. But you ask them a question like this. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulties there, but I find it disturbing that women want the black men to protect them in certain ways with a slap across the face or whatever. But when it comes to protecting the black man's name, they are nowhere to be found. They don't think that that's their problem, that it is all one-sided. You protect me, I don't have to do jack for you. That is disturbing to me. It should not be that way. And so that's number 6. Socially protect your man's name. Don't let people talk greasy about us, really. Number 5, dismiss anything that's not B1. Okay, well, what's B1? B1 is black first, everything black first. And why I say that is because other groups clearly put themselves first, and I don't hate them for that. I acknowledge that. I'm okay with that, but at the same time, we need to be doing some of the same stuff. We need to be putting ourselves first. And when you come up on articles that tell you to chase other men, or when you come up, or the men to chase other women, or whatever the case may be, we need to call that out for really what it is. And really what it is a soft genocide movement. At least that's how I feel about it. I know that people get triggered by some of my words that I use, but when you think about it, it's a lot of it has to do with the depopulation of us, and a lot of it has to do with pretty much siphoning off all the wealth out of our community. The men who have money, they sort of marry out, and the women who have money, they sort of marry out. And that's a double-edged sword, because it's siphoning off all of the talented people who have money out of our neighborhood or our community, and it is also giving us one less person to procreate with, and having it where we're having less kids. I mean, our numbers haven't rose. Our numbers have stayed stuck for a long time while other groups have risen, and that's good for them. I know that some groups have been seeing a bit of a decline, but for the most part, ours have been pretty steady, and there's mechanisms in place to make sure we don't become too big or too wealthy. And but that's something that both men and women can do, is number 5, and that's dismiss everything that's not B1. Number 4 is words of affirmation. It's a love language, and it seems like, and it's just my opinion, but brothers don't really get a whole lot of words of affirmation. We get a lot of ridicule, we get a lot of greasy talk, and we get a lot of attitude, but more often than not, that probably is quadrupled compared to the words of affirmation that we get. And that needs to reverse. Okay. I'm not saying that we're perfect or anything like that, but we're men. We feel a certain type of way. We move a certain type of way. And we really need those words of affirmation that can put a battery pack in us and help us to go and conquer the world, if need be. But we need those words of affirmation. I think that's really lacking in our community, both from the men and the women. We both need to get better at that. But this is a list for what women can do. But again, brothers can do better with that too. Words of affirmation. We need to raise each other up instead of tearing each other down. We're not in a competition with each other. We are a family, and we need to move like a family instead of enemies. The self-hatred is at an all-time high, and it is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. I mean, we are the first people on the planet. We should be proud of that, and we should move with our heads held very high, okay, for a lot of reasons. And we don't do that enough. So words of affirmation, and not just one group. It seems like only the men want to raise up the men and only the women want to raise up the women. That's ridiculous. That's, tribalism within the community. That's just so ridiculous. Words of affirmation from each other. Let's all get better at that. Number 3, I would like to see the women working with the fathers better. Okay. Now, some might say, oh, well, the fathers are not there and they left and this, that, and the third. Well, just because a father is not there don't mean it's always his fault he's not there. Okay. The women and the system do a good job of separating the men from a lot of things, their kids and this, that, and the third. Now, if he was a real man, he would still stick around. Yeah, but he need cooperation. He need cooperation for a lot of that stuff to happen. And a lot of times he ain't getting no cooperation, and he definitely ain't getting no words of affirmation. Okay. A lot of times breakups are hard. So when a breakup happens, then you have a person who is bitter. You have a couple that's automatically bitter off the bat. So, and if you want to see your child, there's bitterness that come with that. And no tongue is more venomous than the Black Queen. It just is what it is, because women are very skilled at saying what's on their mind and saying things that they sometimes they cut deep. So it's hard to be around that. But like I said, this is a list for what the women can do. I know men can do better in a lot of ways. Being better providers or being better protectors or being better fathers for that matter. But this is a list for the women. And with that being said, I think they need to work more and better with the fathers than what they're doing. Let that man see his kids. Let that man see his seeds. You think you can do it all by yourself? First of all, why would you want to do it by yourself? That is just more work on you. That's ridiculous. And then second of all, you decide, oh, I don't want to do it by myself. So you get another dude and have another dude be a pseudo father to his kids. And you're not, it's a mess. Work better with the fathers. That's number 3. All right. Number 2 is I'm gonna need the women to raise the boys that they would date if they were their age. And I know that sounds weird, but you complain about men so much where the women are the ones who are raising these boys. Raise them better. Raise men that are upstanding. Raise men that are respectable. Raise men that give them some pride. A lot of these guys ain't even got pride because they never got it from neither their father nor their mother. Okay. And oftentimes the mother is the one raising the boys. And a lot of the times that, with that being said, they're not getting raised to be men. Okay, I find it sort of odd that, first of all, let's look at the statistics. Black boys get, they don't do as well in school as the girls. And I don't think that's because Black boys are just dumber than girls. That's ridiculous. Okay. There are a lot of intelligent Black boys. It's just that they're not getting the attention that the girls are getting. And a lot of times, oftentimes, a lot of Black women tend to favor their daughters. And I've seen it personally. Okay. They favor their daughters. So they make sure the daughters make it. You know, you go to school, you do this, that, and the third. If there is money for one party to go to college, that money gets spent on the daughter. Don't get spent on the boy. And the boys have to find a way, make a way. I was kicked out of the house as soon as I legally could be. My sister lived with my parents till she was in her 30s. Okay. You know, they take care, you know, and I get it. You got to take care of the girls, but at the same time, the neglect for the boys is at an all-time high, and it has to get better. So raise better men. All the sisters need to be looking at each other saying, you know, you need to raise a better son. You need to raise this boy, or raise the father, work with the father better, you know. But if the father is not available, whether he's, you know, underground or in a cell, it's up to you to raise this boy to be a respectable man that will warrant respect from every woman. And I know it's harder for women to do that because oftentimes boys need their fathers. But, you know, you are not only helping to create, but you are producing the men that you despise. It just is what it is. So you believe it or not, have the heaviest load as to the product that comes out. Not only just by genetics, but by you know, there's a thing of nature versus nurture. Okay. Yeah, you created them by nature, but you have to do that nurture too. So raise better men. That's number 2. And number 1 is very simple. It's very simple. It's just respect your men. Respect your men. They are your fathers. They are your sons. They are your husbands. They are your brothers. They are your uncles. They are your grandfathers. Respect your men. If you want a better community, respect your men. Now, some women might say, oh, well, you need to deserve respect and this, that, and the third. You know, I oftentimes feel like a lot of the mothers, and this is just my philosophy, and you can put it in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong, but it seems as mothers get God status, and they like it like that. Mothers get God status. Fathers don't get God status. Fathers have to earn their status. Mothers are given their status, and this is because they do most of the raising and nurturing of the child. So if you are, you know, it's harder for people to get there with the men and the fathers, because the fathers are sometimes distant from the child, especially in the first 7 years. Okay, it's said that men should take over. When a kid hits 8 years old, the men should take over. But in the first 7 years is impactful because it connects the mother to the child more. And even if the man takes over at 8 years old, it's not gonna, nor should it, try to undo anything that the bond that the mother and the child has. But oftentimes it's secondhand information, and the child, even from 8 on, is still going to sort of default to the mother as to what she thinks and this, that, and the third. So a lot of times the fathers don't get the respect that they well deserve. The boys, the sons, don't get the respect that they deserve. And anybody else that's male don't get the respect they deserve. And I think the women need to work on that respect. With respect, I would say comes love, because love is a form of respect. And when you stop respecting people, oftentimes you fall out of love. So love on your men and respect them. That's another thing that they can do to, make it so that the men in this country are not emasculated. I think it was a genius question asked by Tichina Arnold. If y'all can think of some other things that can be done, put that in the comments. I'm not going to take all of them. Like I said, I could have made this list a lot longer, but I decided not to, just to give y'all a chance to put your own comments in the comment section and tell me what you think. Again, great question, great woman. And this is Mike the Philosopher signing out. Talk to y'all again later. Peace.